Okay. Okay, so welcome everybody to this week's call.
Yes, let's go. Yes, that sounds good.
For Dr. Joseph Ahrens brand, and we have the esteemed Dr. Dave Nelson with us today. So how are you, Dave? I think he's frozen on me, so
Doing good.
You're doing good?
Great.
I'd like to introduce
Yep.
Dave because
Can you hear me now?
known him
This is
for
good.
Yeah, you're frozen on me, but I can hear you. So your face is actually frozen, but your voice is coming in and out. So hopefully we can get through this. We'll see how we go. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Dave Nelson to you and just let you know why Dr. Ahrens has actually asked him to come on board. And it's his credibility and his passion and his love for the health and wellness. So Dr. Dave Nelson is an esteemed colleague, and I'm very happy to have him on board, and I'm sure you're going to understand why when you listen to what he's got to talk about today. So as a doctor, Dr. Nelson is a nutritionalist, a traditional naturopath, and a licensed chiropractor who has been part of the Centre for Advanced Medicine for over 18 years. His core specialty is allergy, nutrition, and biological assessment of the root cause of a patient's health, which is very important. So with more than 2 decades of nutritional and wellness coaching experience, Dr. Dave Nelson has developed a passion for encouraging people to pursue a purpose, feel desire for good health and well-being physically, mentally, and also spiritually as well as they go forward. So, you know, we are very lucky to have you on board, Dave. So today's topic as we go forward is looking at good fats and bad fats, and, you know, what we can do in regards to why they're good for us. And so, Dave, I will ask you, how are you going?
I'm doing good. I love this topic. I love the fats and good fats. Now, people ask, what are good fats and what are bad fats? And there are some good fats, which are unheated oils and fats, such as olive, coconut, even butter, I consider it fat. And it's oils that really are the
So, Dave, I'll tell you that
what we call adulterated oil or fat is. Yes.
I've got you back. I was just going to say to you that I'd lost your video and your audio is a little bit scratchy. So have we got you back? Mustn't be a very good connection there.
You have me?
I have got you now. So I guess where we're looking at is, you know, if you can tell us what are good fats and what are bad fats, if you can define and explain the difference between the two for us.
Okay. A good fat is a fat oil that's unheated. A bad fat is a fat or oil, vegetable. We call it adulterated oil. And the adulterated set up issue body, free radical in the.
Dave, I've got to interrupt. I do have to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Hopefully you can hear me, because we're only getting very snippets of what you're saying, so we're not getting a full sentence. It's not a very good connection.
Well, give me one second, maybe I get a better connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is technology for you at its finest, isn't it? So we always have these challenges when we have global calls like this, and as much as they are really educational for us, it's quite interesting when we have technology. We can put all the best planning in place and have everything set to go, but sometimes it just doesn't cooperate with us. So we have to somehow compromise. And I hope that I do not have to talk on this topic, because I would not deliver it as well as what Dr. Nelson is going to do for us. And this is where Ron Bosema Senior, he's always there as a backup for me. So I'll be pulling him in to fill in if we can't get Dave back on board. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Hopefully you all took advantage of the special as well. That's been going that Dave's been putting out there, because I know I'm pretty darn excited about it. Free products. It's been a really good special for October. Where have we got? Oh, he's coming on the phone, so that might make it a little bit better. Oh, there you are, and you're in San Francisco. This is where technology just becomes amazing. And you'll have to unmute yourself, Dave. Where have we got you? You'll need to unmute yourself.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's get back on track between the difference between good fats and bad fats, Dr. Nelson.
Okay, wonderful. Well, good fats. What are good fats? Good fats are, I classify them as an easy topic. Good fats are fats like olive, coconut, sunflower, safflower that are unheated. Once you heat an oil up, it becomes what we call a bad fat. We all have heard about trans fats and hydrogenated oils, correct?
Mm-hmm.
These oils, once they're heated, it changes them a vegetable fat to trans fat or hydrogenated oil. Those are the oils we don't want to eat or consume. Now, why are they so bad? Number one, those bad fats set up inflammatory conditions, and it sets up this inflammatory cascade within the cell. Just a little bit of biology here. Around every cell, 100 trillion cells we have in our body, there is a bilipid membrane. There's a membrane around every cell. That membrane consists of 50% fat and 50% protein. And so these oils are critical. How do we protect that cell? How does the cell protect that bilipid membrane? We have to consume good oils. We have to consume good fats. That's the only way we can build on that bilipid membrane from the cells. So we have to consume good oils. The good oils are the denatured, unheated oils. And I have a lot of people that I talk to every day about what they're eating, consuming, and the oils they consume. And they say, oh, I eat olive oil every day. I stir fry it, I heat it, and I use it in my foods. Well, just a tip for everyone. Do not ever heat olive oil or a polyunsaturated vegetable oil. Once it's heated, it's become a trans or hydrogenated oil. And that sets up a lot of issues in the body, like inflammatory cascades in the system. Well, one of the things that those denatured oils do, those hydrogenated oils, those bad fats do, it stops the body's ability to absorb oxygen in the cell. It's like putting a plastic shield around every cell membrane so it cannot absorb oxygen. One of the key elements with good oils, the ones that are unheated, it acts as a magnet for oxygenation. Dr. Otto Warburg, 1933, his wonderful work, and I know there's a lot of people that have read some of his work, that when the oxygen levels get below 35%, then we have opened the doorway to disease, disharmony in the body. The power of oils and fats are so critical. The brain is 70% fat. We need to feed good oils in the system to feed the brain good fats. Every cell membrane, 50% of that cell membrane is fats, good fats. So that's kind of an overview of kind of what good fats and bad fats are.
So, Dr. Nelson, when we look at, you talk about having a vegetable oil dilemma that nobody talks about. What
Yes,
exactly are you, what are you getting to there? Can you sort of shed some light on that for us?
yes. This is what no one is talking about, these vegetable oils. And I'm going to go back to what I originally said. These vegetable oils that we find in the grocery store, on the shelf, many times those are already denatured by the food industry. The food industry wants to protect food, right? They want to keep that food on the shelf as long as possible. So they denature those oils so that they have a longer shelf life. They're not looking at health, they're looking at shelf life. And so most of those oils have been heated in some way or denatured in a manufacturing process. And those oils cannot transfer oxygen into the cell, into the mitochondria. It's critical. We do not heat any polyunsaturated vegetable oil. Now, I said vegetable oil, didn't I? A fat such as butter, coconut, or avocado oil is already saturated, semi-saturated. And that saturation oil is one of those oils that we can consume and can heat because it has a higher heat index and it's already saturated. The hydrogen bonds have already been filled, means that it's not going to denature it. So a saturated fat such as butter and coconut oil is safe to heat. Also, I use a little avocado oil, is fairly safe too. And some of the oils out there, like grapeseed, has a higher heat index, but the saturated fats you want to heat over the polyunsaturated vegetable oils. Do not heat those vegetable oils up. You can heat a saturated fat up. And especially do not ever, ever, ever heat olive oil because it will turn to a trans fat.
So, Dr. Nelson, when we look at that, we've all heard that fats are bad and we need to lower our fat intake.
Yes.
Is this true or false? What are your thoughts on that?
Say that one more time, Jackie.
Well, we've all heard that that fats are bad and that we
Yes.
need to lower your fat
Yes.
intake. Is
Yes.
that true or false?
That's a myth. Without good fats, we do not protect the cell membrane. Like I mentioned, the fats in the brain, there's 70% fat. The brain is 70% fat. We need to feed that brain good fats and good oils. And so fats break down bad fats in the blood. Good fats help protect the heart, the cardiovascular system. So these good fats, the unsaturated, the unheated oils are the ones we want to consume. And, Dr. Ahrens has gone over so much and discussed with us so much of what sugars and carbohydrates do to the blood that sets up inflammatory issues, causes inflammation along their artery wall, and then the body tries to heal that. It tries to go in and brings fibrin, calcium, it sends cholesterol. Remember, cholesterol is not a bad guy. We need cholesterol for transporting of nutrients. Cholesterol is extremely important. Without cholesterol, we don't produce vitamin D3. So cholesterol is not a bad guy. Too much of it is just a sign that says, uh-oh, why is my cholesterol so high? What's going on? Not that we're looking at cause here, not looking at symptoms. A cause of why the cholesterol is high, in most cases, there's an inflammatory response going on in the body because the body's trying to heal itself all the time. And cholesterol is one of those components the body tries to heal. And I know Dr. Ahrens mentioned this off and on, that I like to use his analogy, and I use this all the time, every day, that when we consume too much sugars and too much carbs, there's the inflammatory cascade that's occurring in the artery wall, and the body tries to heal it. Now, the body tries to heal it just like we injured ourselves on our hand. The body goes to heal that and forms a scab, correct? Well, a scab inside the artery wall is what they call plaque. And that continues over and over and over again. Now we have a narrowing of the vessel wall, and now we have pressure and stress on the heart trying to push the same amount of blood through a narrow artery or a hose that's being kicked. So fats help to break down bad fats. Good fats, coconut, olive, sunflower, safflower, unheated. Those are the good ones we want to consume. We want to preserve and increase our oxygenation. We want to have good fats act as a magnet to the cells, because the more oxygen we have, according to Dr. Otto Warburg and his science, a Nobel Prize nominee, or Nobel Prize winner in 1933, 32, his work in oxygenation. But it goes back to how the cell is being protected. And good oils protect the cell membrane and allow the body to absorb oxygen for its needed purpose, for the mitochondria, for energy, and for the whole process of processing fuel for the body. And good fats help to bring that oxygen in the cell.
So, Dr. Nelson, as I listen to you, and I am absorbing everything that you are talking about, but just to go through, because we've got an agenda here that you've provided for me. So did you want to just run through so that people do understand what kind of fats are there that we're looking at?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, what kind of fats? There's, you know, the coconut, the olive, the sunflower, the safflower oils. There's linoleic oils. There's alpha linoleic oils. Now, a lot of people will talk about fish oils. Now, fish oils, I'm not a big fan of fish oils because they're what we call derivatives. They're formed from these good oils that we consume. And so the sunflower and the safflower, all those good oils, the coconut oils, they break down to what we call derivatives. And those derivatives are the EPA and DHA oils. We cannot those oils we have to consume for the body to manufacture those EPA and DHA oils. Now, those oils, we only need about 1 to 5% of those oils. So those are what we call omega-3s. A lot of people are overdosing on omega-3s, and it can be very damaging to consume too much of those omega-3. So I choose and I recommend consuming those good oils to help in the production of those EPA and DHA oils. So those are the oils we want to consume. I do not recommend consuming fish oils because there's some issues that can occur with too much fish oil. I'd rather get my oil from my fish from eating salmon and mahi-mahi and cod, as opposed to consuming the fish oils.
Well, I have to honestly say I'm going to go here when it comes to the salmon, because it's one of my favorite meals that I like to have at least twice a week, and I'd nearly have it every day, only that I would get sick of it, to be honest. But
eat your fish. The fish has so much nutrients and good fats in it, but don't consume fish oils. Now, I like to use this analogy because people say, well, why don't you want to consume fish oils? Well, number one, a fish comes from deep water, cold water, and they take it to the surface, 75, 80, 90 degrees. They put it through a juicer. They juice the oil out of it. They put it in a capsule. They put it in the lab in a capsule form, put it through the lab, in a manufacturing plant, in a warehouse. And by the time you get it, is the oil possibly rancid? I would put my bet that oil may be rancid. Do we want to consume rancid oils? Absolutely not. And so that creates inflammation. That creates inflammatory inflammation and stops the oxygenation of the cells. We want to keep the mind on oxygenation. These good oils I'm consuming, I want to make sure that I'm consuming good oils so I have my cells' ability to bring more oxygen in to the mitochondria, into the cytoplasm for better production of energy.
So also, Dr. Nelson, when we start, as I listen to you, and I know like with our brain and some of us may or may not know
Yes.
that we actually don't even use all of our brain. We've got all of this matter
Right.
that's sitting up in between our ears, but we physically do not have access to it. So it is really important that we are what we eat, and we need to fuel our body for the benefits of being able to have better brain health and to be able to have a healthier body that's going to be kinder to us as we do age and as we do want
Yes.
to do things. But what do fats do within the body?
Fats help in healing. Fats help in oxygenation. Fats help in increases the cellular oxygenation in the cells. So they help protect the body. They help protect the body from free radical damage. They help to protect the body from toxins, chemicals, pesticides, the chemicals that we're all exposed to. We're all exposed to chemicals. We're all exposed to the smog in the air has toxicity to it. And so the fats in the body help protect us neurologically from these damaging free radicals, these chemicals that will and can affect us. I use the analogy, I know Dr. Ron's on, we like to use the analogy that we have a barrel. We all have our own barrel effect, and we call it barrel effect. And as that barrel starts to fill up with toxins, as it overflows, there's where symptomatic issues come. And so much of the time is, well, I want to stop that pain. I just want to give me something to stop that pain. And no one's asking the question, well, why is the pain there? Is there inflammatory conditions because of something? We just don't want to stop it. We want to treat the cause, and we want to keep that cleansing effect going on a daily basis. And every time we consume food, we want to say, well, is this a positive food for me or a negative food? Is this going to fill my barrel up or keep cleansing my barrel? We want to keep that barrel low. We want to keep that barrel from filling up. And good fats help protect us. A no fat or low fat diet is extremely dangerous. And so, but we want to consume the good fats and not the so-called adulterated heated oils. So the takeaway here is don't heat any oils except a saturated fat. A saturated fat would be coconut oil, avocado, and butter. Those are the ones you can heat. Otherwise, the rest of oils do not heat or consume. The packaged foods are all adulterated. Packaged foods have oils in it. They all are adulterated. I do not consume, personally, I do not consume any canola oil because canola oil is many times, it's called rapeseed oil, and it's many times, it's highly sprayed. And you can find some organic coconut oil, but I don't like, organic canola, but I don't consume a lot of the canola because it's found in a lot of processed foods. And if it's not organic, we got problems. So I kind of veer away from those. I love the coconut, olive, and avocado oils and butter. There's some great things in butter. There's a fatty acid in butter. Get this, there's a fatty acid in butter called butyric acid. Butyric acid is a great fatty acid that's extremely effective for the digestive system. So there's some good things in butter.
So Dr. Nelson, there's a lot of questions here that we've
Sure.
spoken about, and I'm looking through here and thinking you've nearly addressed a lot of these as I've listened to you, but I do want to ask you, how do these would you like to elaborate on how these good fats actually can support our health so that we understand as we finalize this call or we head towards
Sure.
the end, and we're looking at good health, good fats, how can they actually support our health, looking into the inflammation and so forth?
Okay, number one, good fats, as we consume those good fats, it helps the brain. Everyone wants a healthy brain for years, for our lifetime. Remember, the brain is 70% fat. We need good fats. It protects every cell in the body. We have 100 trillion cells. Around every Every cell, there's a bilipid membrane. There's a membrane. There's a shield around every cell. It's 50% protein and 50% fat. As we support that, those oils act as a magnet. That lipid membrane full of good phospholipids and good fats help as a magnet for oxygenation. The more oxygen we have, the healthier, the stronger, the more energy and performance we have for years and years and years. As we consume those bad fats, it breaks that down. And so that's why these good fats and oils are so important for the cell membrane. They also protect us from damage of free radicals or chemicals, pesticides, things that we may be exposed to, the toxic air that we're breathing. Those oils and fats help protect the central nervous system from being damaged.
Okay. So Dr. Nelson, when we start looking and as we go forward with this, can you tell our listeners the most important takeaway from this topic today on fats and oils to try and, I guess, give it a little bit of, to analyze it and to give us a breakdown, and
Sure.
so we can take it away and go, well, this is what's going to sit in our mind that we really need to make some changes for the better.
Yep. So consume oils at every vegetable oils that are unheated, at the ones we mentioned, coconut, olive, sunflower, safflower, those oils, butter, consume those at every meal. Put it on your food. Make your food enjoyable. Those good oils help in the oxygenation of the cells, help in energy endurance. Stop consuming fish oils. Fish oils can cause damage to the body long term. Eat your fish. Get your oils from your fish. And as I mentioned, don't heat any oil except the saturated oils. That's my takeaway. Get your fats, get your oils, get a better brain with increasing good oils. Now, one more thing, I'm just going to finish up with that. Actually, the body, we've all heard about the ketogenic diet, right? The liver converts these fats to ketones. The brain uses ketones very, very effectively. And that can increase oxygenation, increase memory, retention, recall. We have the keto creamer, which I love. It's a great fat. And you know what that keto creamer has in it that I just absolutely love is organic the grass-fed butter. It's wonderful. And that's a good food to consume on a daily basis.
So I must admit, I am a lover of the keto creamer, and I use it in my smoothies, and I really enjoy it. I never thought about doing it, and then started experimenting with it, and it's become one of my favorite products to add to my food, just to help with my health and well-being, to keep my inflammatory levels down as well, as much as I possibly can. But Dr. Nelson, you said that you've got a study
Yes.
for the listeners here that you are happy to share. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about that study?
Well, it's a study that was done, a clinical study that was done on oils and fats and fish oils. So those individuals that are listening, the listeners here that are listening, they can text you or email you, and I'll send the link out to you, and you can send this link out. It's a great study, and there's some science in here, but it explains why these oils are important and the ones you should avoid.
So do you think, I don't want to put you on the spot here, and you can say no, and I think everybody would be okay with that, but would you be able to provide that to myself, and then I can place it into Dr. Ahrens' page for people to go to? Is that okay?
I can send that over to you. Yes, I can.
Okay, so then you'll all be able to access it from there, which is great. So
yeah.
I don't know if anyone's got any questions. I haven't seen any come up here in specific to this particular topic. I know there's some about emulin, which we'll address on a different time. But in regards to what I've listened to today, Dr. Nelson, I really want to thank you, because it's such an important thing being in the health and wellness industry, that we are what we eat. And
Yes.
I will personally say, just for my own self, with a pretty challenged health all of my life, that I'm very aware that what I fuel my body with can either have a good result, or it can have an adverse effect in regards to fueling inflammation for me. And my body will tell me within about 20 minutes if I've chosen a particular food that is loaded with, the incorrect things that are fueling inflammation for me.
Jackie, one more thing I was going to mention. Most people do exercise, and we have weekend athletes, and we have those individuals that are working out and training on a regular basis. And for those athletes and the weekend athlete, we all exercise. I consider everyone an athlete. That's where these oils are really, really, really important to increase oxygenation in the cell. We're talking about endurance, stamina, longevity. There's a big push right now in the triathletes and the long distance runners and marathon runners to move away from carb loading to a high fat diet, because you can burn fats for a longer period of time than you can a carbohydrate. And so a lot of the athletes are getting on board and changing the diet away from high carbs and sugar to a more conducive diet to help their performance. And that is a higher fat diet and lower carb.
Yeah, and I've got to agree with you there. I only listened to my husband yesterday. He came home from training. He's in the elite world as a retired elite athlete, but also as he's not only an educator, but he's also a coach as well. And he came home and told me what he did. He's 61 and his body looks like a 25-year-old. And that's exactly, he manipulates his diet. And when I say he manipulates, he makes good food choices.
Yes.
That he has a low carbohydrate intake, a very minimalized, it's natural sugars if there's anything in there.
Yep.
But I will say Emulin has made the huge difference for him in the leap of having a lot of surgeries from injuries from professional sport, that it's enabled him to be able to function a lot better. And I listen to him because he hates to be beaten. It's that inner athlete that they're so competitive for the rest of their life. But he told me what he did in his training session yesterday, and I just listened as we were walking our dog, and I said to him, is this ever going to change, your competitiveness? Because he said his heart rate escalated, but the bottom line was his body is like a temple, and he treats it as such by what he fuels it with, and it obviously really benefits by what his performance is, and it shows. So I really want to thank you, Dr. Nelson.
One thing, Jackie, thank you. It's been great coming on. One of the things, there are about 4 or 5 different things. I just want to finish here that good oils help in cravings, appetite, less hunger, less inflammation, better cardiovascular flow, hormone balancing, endurance. It can help in better skin tone, good fats, help in the whole body.
So when we look at trying to defy age and we try to defy not being able to have the ability to do things, it is what we eat. And I look at my parents, and why do I talk and refer about myself? It's not because I like hearing about myself talking. It's because it's a safe zone to sit in, that if you're talking about your own personal experiences, we're protecting the product as we go forward, and protect the company as well. But again, we are what we eat. And Dr. Nelson, I really want to thank you. You have just been an encyclopedia of knowledge in this, and I know it's a passion in this area of good fats and bad fats. And I do thank you on behalf of all of us, and for those people that listen to this call afterwards. And we certainly look forward to having you back on the call again. So is there anything you'd like to finish with before we go?
Eat your fats, don't heat them, and increase it just helps the whole body. And you'll feel the difference once you start adding these good oils. The skin tone will change. It's phenomenal when you get these good oils in the body. Thank you, Jackie.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And again, thank you so much, Dr. Nelson, for delivering an excellent presentation.
Thank you.